Legend of Total War here, and today I'm going to be talking about Skulltaker's campaign and how utterly broken it is, pretty much on a comical level. I'm not sitting here complaining about it by any means, because this stuff is like geared right up my alley. It's got so many little cheeses, big cheeses, massive exploits, all this kind of stuff that just seems like Creative Assembly made this specifically for Legend of Total War. And if that was the case, which it definitely isn't, thanks, this is great. But it's not really in line with a lot of their design ethos a lot of the time, especially when they nerf fun stuff because it can be abused, but then they design a campaign like this that is literally just game abuse the whole way through. In fact, it's so egregious here that players who don't like to abuse the systems, it's pretty much unavoidable. Like you will be snowballing so quickly, even if you're trying not to, because of just like the campaign mechanics here. So I want to just go over it and just talk about all the things that I found, and I'd love to hear about anything that I may have missed about this campaign and let you know my thoughts, and I'd love to hear your thoughts about it as well. And maybe I'll give you a couple of techniques on how to really sort of maximize the bullshit of this campaign, because I think that's what this campaign really is. This is the bullshit campaign. This is where you go in and break the game and just cause an insane amount of just ridiculousness in many different levels. It's not like it's just one thing that's broken, it's just about everything. So Skulltaker himself is a really strong fighter. He's pretty much on par with Scarbrand. You can make him stronger in some areas, but by no means is he ever going to be completely invincible. His primary objective is to go around killing enemy lords, and as you kill lords, you will obtain Champion's Essence. And I'd say that if you really want to lean into this quite heavily, you could actually go about creating essentially like lord farms, and it can be quite funny. And I've done that in this campaign here. I'll show you just how broken it can actually get. So what I want to do just briefly is just assume, if you're watching, that that you haven't yet played this campaign and you don't know what the hell I'm talking about. So it doesn't take too long. You just play this campaign as usual. You will obtain Champion's Essence. So if you just capturing territory, fighting battles, raising territory, you're going to get the stuff by default. It doesn't require you to play any differently. You will get Champion's Essence. It's unavoidable. And there's no way, it doesn't take you out of the usual gameplay experience. It's just an additional reward for winning battles, I guess, or killing lords, which you then spend on the Cloak of Skulls. Now, there are 10 different skulls to upgrade, and each skull can be upgraded 3 times. So the ones down the bottom, these are the cheapest ones. So you can see this one here. I could easily max it out, but that was not what I wanted to prioritize, because I didn't think that was overly important. And as you go up the rank in skulls, some of these become pretty damn expensive. So there is a finite number of Champion's Essence that you need to complete the 30 different levels, I guess, of this. And once you've done that, you don't need Champion's Essence anymore. But it's several thousand Champion's Essence that you'll need, and that can take a fairly long time if you don't know how to really milk this system. And that's where I want to start off this video here, is showing you just how easily you can just milk this. Oh my god, you can milk it so quick. It's so funny. Anyway, so as I said, any lord will have Champion's Essence above their head here. So this lord here, it has currently the lowest amount that you can ever obtain from a lord, which is the base amount, 5, which never changes on any of the lords, and then lord's rank +1. It's impossible to encounter a lower level lord than level 1, so that is the absolute minimum. Now, there doesn't appear to be a maximum, so let's go through some of the stuff. If we have a look at this dwarf lord here, he's level 17. Let's have a look at his breakdown. So if we killed this guy, we would get 39 Champion's Essence. So base amount, that's the same as everyone else. Lord's rank 17, so for every rank. So that means a maximum of 50 for Lord's rank. Lord type yet not defeated. So I've never gone up against a dwarf lord. Now, that would also apply another bonus if I was going up against a different lord type of the same race. So rune lords, slayer lords, they would each give a lord type not yet defeated. But the best way to farm that particular stat, is to go up against a faction that has sorcerer lords, because every different element counts as a lord type not defeated. So for example, if you go up against the high elves and you go up against a fire wizard lord, well, that counts as lord type not yet defeated. And then if you go up against a death one, then that'll be a separate one as well. So because the high elves have like 9 different lords of magic available in their sorcerer lords, you can farm quite a bit out of them. and so on. And then you've got battles won by that lord. So this lord here has personally won 7 battles and somehow managed to get to level 17 off 7 battles. Maybe because it was reinforcing in a bunch of those. I don't think they gain a battle won by this lord if they were reinforcing. So this one personally led the charge on 7 battles, won those battles, and that will give us 7 extra points. Now, the thing is, battles won by the lord is the bit that can be abused, right? So if we go over to here, we can see that Azag the Slaughterer is there. Obviously, we're not at war with him, but we'll have a look at him as well. So him being a legendary lord, whatever his score is, you then double it, and that's the amount of Champion's Essence. So his actual score is 52. If we added up all the other stuff, it would add to 52, and then it goes to 104 because he's a legendary lord. All legendary lords will have this 2-time multiplier. Now, he's won 13 battles. He's Lord type not yet defeated, Lord rank 24, and of course the base amount 5 there. Now, if you really want to milk this, what I've done this campaign is anytime I'm just about on the cusp of defeating a faction, I have restrained myself from doing so and left them alive. And so what we've got here, we'll use this one here as our first example. So we've got this is just the Blood Hall Cup. It's not a legendary lord faction. They are just providing 6 each time. Their faction leader, Valandwil, will keep coming back every 5 turns, and that guy I think is higher level than 1, so he'll be worth a little bit more, but we're not really gaining a lot of Champion's Essence from this. I've got a bunch of lords sitting around here. It doesn't require much to take it out, and usually the rebellions are pretty easy to sort out and try to prevent them from taking over. But that being said, if a rebellion comes and takes him out, well then just replaces it with another faction, which I then repeat the process on basically. Now, Khorne no longer has supply lines, so this is not really causing me any serious problems because the amount of money that I make from sacking this settlement here every single turn pretty much pays for their upkeep. Plus, as you can see here, I'm leveling them up quite a bit as well. So I've got quite a lot of lords being leveled up this way. It's not a quick way to level them up. It's also a really great way of getting a lot of equipment. So if I have a look over here, I'm only on turn 32. I've been doing this pretty much since turn 1, and I got loads of equipment. And I've been fusing stuff as well, but I just get so much equipment. 4 lords can participate in any particular battle. I've also got some blood hosts here as well. Blood hosts no longer have upkeep costs. They just require skulls in order to produce in the first place, which as you can see, I'm not really short on skulls, so that's not really a big issue at all. And then the bloodletting, I think, got nerfed quite a bit. It no longer provides global bonuses for getting it up to here, so keeping the bloodletting super high is not really a big priority for me. Now, so that's, you know, gaining some Champion's Essence there. Not heaps, but if we come over to here, we can see that Marcus Wolfhart is here, and he has got a much higher score. Now, he's going to come back every 5 turns. So every 5 turns, I'm able to get 58 out of him. Right? And every so often a rebellion show up. Rebellion lords don't count towards Champion's Essence, so I have to go out there and basically deal with them myself. But yeah, as I've progressed through the campaign, I have left behind pretty much every legendary lord that I can and farmed them. So over here we can see we got Yuan Bo. Our guys are not going to have any trouble with that. We've got blood hosts here helping out with it. Now, there is a point where you can see an exploit here, right? Because if we come over to here, you can see Mazdamundi. Mazdamundi has 300 points. Now, that's not specifically due to Mazdamundi himself, but what was it that is going to give me 300 points for farming Mazdamundi? Now, I can get this every 5 turns without, as long as his faction doesn't get wiped out. He'll keep coming back. So, what was it that I did to get it to 300? As you can see here, he's not super high lord rank. Battles won by this lord, 131. What do you think I did? Well, I'll show you. I'm just going to get some of these guys to back off a little bit. Okay. I'm going to show you. I took a lord. Just get back. So I'll take this guy here. Make sure he's got no equipment. And we made the attack. Oh, hang on. Someone's reinforcing. I don't want that. Oh, right. There's another blood host here. Move back, please. Okay. So we go into the battle here. And we fight the battle manually. Can you see what I'm trying to do here? We're going to lose deliberately. We go into the battle. We then withdraw immediately. And he gains another victory. Now, because he's a legendary lord, each victory is actually worth 2 Champion's Essence. Now, this is a bit tedious if you really want to lean into it to get to 300, but doing it a couple of times can turn a legendary lord from being worth, I don't know, 40, 50, very quickly to being worth 100. But then getting from 100 to 200, then 200 to 300, that does take a while. I probably went a bit overboard with this. But legend, you lost a battle. It doesn't matter. I didn't lose anything. Mazda Mundi gains no experience. He might gain an item, but that doesn't matter because I just auto-resolve, get rid of him when I decide to anyway. So as we'll see here when I come out of it, another thing due to just Warhammer 3, this is unique to Total War Warhammer 3, is that when you lose a battle and you're the attacker, you don't actually lose your movement. So, yep, you fall back there. You can see he's now worth 302. And I can just send him straight back in there and do it again. And you can do that over and over and over again, and there doesn't seem to be any limit. And as I said, he doesn't get any experience because he did no damage to us. And when we do actually want to get rid of him, easy. Cool. Oh, I only brought... I didn't even bring the thing, the blood host over. Cool. And then you can see here, we got that. And 5 turns later, he'll come back and I'll get more Champion's Essence. And so having all of these farms is going to allow me to complete the Cloak of Skulls incredibly quickly. Now, here's the thing. That's not even the broken part. I showed you something that was pretty mild. Like, I'd imagine most of you guys probably won't even do that, right? But it's the stuff that's in here that gets broken, right? So let's firstly start with this one here. This is one of the broken things. So Iron Neck the Wanderer. So it's on the first tier. You can get it pretty much from like very very early on in the campaign. So I've already completed all 3 tiers. Replenishes 30% of a campaign movement range after defeating a Lord, faction leader's army. So what this does is your faction leader's army, so that's Skulltaker, will restore 30% of his maximum campaign movement range. So if you've got anything that's providing him additional campaign movement range, that'll definitely help. He gets 30% of that back as well. And this here is not unique to Skulltaker. So if any Lord of yours defeats any Lord of the enemies, then Skulltaker regains movement. And I'll show you that. So we'll take Skulltaker, who's over here, and we will use up all of his movement. Whoops, I used up way too much movement. Okay, so you can see here, he's completely out. And then I am going to go and defeat Marcus Wolfheart. Who's got him under siege? This one here. So you're going to defeat Marcus Wolfheart. Farm him. Thank you very much. You'll see something else is popping up there. We'll get to that. We'll get to that. This is too much. Okay, we'll get to it. Okay, and then we come over here, and we'll see that we have recovered 30% of our campaign movement range. And so by creating these farms, the more farms I have, the more campaign movement range that Skulltaker has, and I just go further and further every single turn. It's getting to the point now where if I really maximize this, a single turn is literally taking me like half a day because of just how much shit I'm doing. Also, I confederated Scarbrand like super bloody early because I even out-propelled him. It doesn't provide Scarbrand with extra campaign movement range because he's not the faction leader. So I'm actually not getting a super amount of use out of Scarbrand here because he's not really making that much use out of the Cloak of Skulls. So yeah, you get that campaign movement range. Now, this is where I think that the oversight is happening. I think that this was intended to be for every time that Skulltaker defeats a Lord, he should get 30% of his campaign movement range back. Or maybe Creative Assembly assumed that the player wouldn't create basically Lord farms all over the place. Because here's the thing, the Khorne territory, the average settlement, it's not really worth anything unless it has a actual resource on it. The resources are really good. So if you have a look at this one here, you're providing these global bonuses. Yeah, we definitely don't want to leave an army here. But Bregon, for example, this is worth nothing to us. Absolutely nothing. If you have a look at a different port settlement, so Temple of Kara here, ports don't provide us with friggin' jack shit. So what? I don't have to prioritize that. You make no money from the main building, and you only make money from the other building. So ports are friggin' worthless. So leaving an army there to farm it, so that I can basically get... That's only on the movement as well. Keep getting that going, and allowing Skulltaker to just keep smashing as he goes. A bit of an oversight, I think. Okay, now that's just that one there, okay? Okay, so this one over here as well. anytime a Lord is defeated with this, it doesn't have to be by Skulltaker. Skulltaker gains 50% of the experience of the defeated Lord. So, if we went back over to here, Skulltaker's already level 50 because this snowballs out of control really quick. So Master Mundi was level 14, right? So the amount of experience required to get to level 14, every single time I beat him, 50% of that experience is added onto Skulltaker. So that gained him at least a level up every single time. So Skulltaker took him like maybe 10 turns to get to level 20, and then about 2 turns after that to get to level 50, basically, as soon as I had gotten that filled out. And then every other Lord will get 5% of the experience of defeated Lords. Now again, Skulltaker doesn't have to be the one to do it. So again, setting up these farms, all of my Lords are leveling up like fucking crazy, just off 5%, and they're not doing anything. This dude here, I recruited him 5 turns ago, and he's already level 18, and all he's doing is beating down on a 1 Lord faction, basically. That's it. And he's level 18 already. So, look, I leveled him up last turn, and his levels are just going through the friggin' roof, right? It's just absolutely crazy. And also, on top of that, I put Mentor on here, and I think what's happening is that 50% of the experience, I didn't get the third point, but 50% of the experience is then 30% of that is then going back to everyone else. So it's just compounding this to such a ridiculous degree. Okay, and then we're not done yet. This is just the beginning of how broken this is. I love this shit. It just seems like whatever. Okay, so what's the next one? This is just a teleport mechanic. There's nothing particularly broken about this. People are a bit sick of teleport mechanics. You can just not do it if you don't want to. But this allows me to just, if I've cleared out the Lords in one area, I'll just go teleport over to another area, which is exactly what I did a turn ago. I landed over here to go and clear out this stuff here, which you can see I've got 1 turn. It would have a 5-turn cooldown, but that was, like I said, last turn. Not a big deal with that one. This here makes him stronger. So for each of these that we have upgraded, we get essentially up to 30 of each of these points. But Skulltaker has not been having any trouble with his battles anyway, so I haven't really focused on that at all. I've definitely got the skulls, so the Champion's Essence for it, but like I said, he's not having any trouble with any of the battles. I did this one here because his melee defense is fairly low on a Blood Shrine, so I wanted him to get a bit of extra melee defense for that. There's also physical resistance down here, but I haven't really been having any trouble. I'm basically already at maximum physical resistance anyway, so I just didn't bother with that. So now we move on to the really broken stuff here. So when you get to level 3 in this one, which again, I haven't prioritized it, any ruins in the local province are immediately colonized after defeating a Lord. Again, doesn't have to be Skulltaker, just immediately colonizes any of the ruins that you left behind. But I don't think that one's that big of a deal. This one over here, getting more skulls for just defeating a Lord, again, doesn't have to be beaten by Skulltaker. So every time I defeated any of those Lords, I got 250. Since I don't have any shortage of skulls, I didn't need to upgrade this any further. And then this one here, this is the broken one. This is the one that you guys would have seen and been like, oh my god, this is fucking ridiculous, right? So level 1 and level 2, they're actually super broken. But when you get to level 3, that's just, it just, I don't know how this got into the launch build. I just don't understand. But anyway. So let's go with level 2, because these are the same, it's just multiplied, right? All blood hosts are replenished by 20% after defeating a Lord. So blood hosts normally can't replenish, like just normally. So let's just find a blood host somewhere. One would just fought a battle, maybe up here. It may already be replenished. Let's see, it was over. No one fought the battle there. Did anyone fight here? I didn't fight there. What about this area? Where is it? I got a blood host here. No, it's not damaged. I gotta find some way to have a damaged blood host. Okay, I've got a blood host here. I'll just move these ones out of the way. Okay, and we've got everything on very hard battle difficulty. Yep, okay. So, we'll get this one here to do this. So it's quite badly damaged, right? By doing that. It's spawned a new blood host. Okay, so this one's damaged, right? Now, if this blood host over here takes out this army, which we will, anytime we defeat a Lord, we get a new blood host, right? So you can see that one showed up there just then. Now, if we go back to this one over here, it's been healed by 20%. So as you create more of these farms, your blood hosts become immortal. They just get replenished really, really friggin' quickly. Even if you're just auto-resolving and getting smashed in these battles, you just recover them so bloody quickly. And then, of course, the level 3 version. This one required 800 essence, which is one of the reasons why I wanted to pump up Mazdamundi's number. Summon a blood host after defeating a lord. So if anyone defeats a lord, a new blood host is summoned. Now, blood hosts, they don't cost any skulls. It just summons a blood host, right? And the strength of the blood hosts, they can be upgraded in various different ways. So for one thing, Scarbrand, it has over here blood host +3 units on creation, all characters faction wide. So confederating him was definitely a top priority. But we've also got over here in Skulltaker, he's got one of them as well. Which one is it? Yeah, blood host +2 units on creation, all characters faction wide. Over here we've got adds 2 further flesh hounds, adds an additional blood letter, and then this one will make all of the blood letters turn into exalted blood letters. So that'll be my next priority after I get this one over here, because I want to have the cooldown on the skull throne stuff. Because honestly, the strength of the blood hosts, it doesn't really matter if they come out at 12 units or 20 at this point. It's kind of ridiculous. And so, what's good? Skulltaker, 2 turns ago, just rampaged through here and took out a lot of Iron Pestilence. And these were the blood hosts that were created just from the battles I fought. I didn't actually spend any skulls. I was just fighting battles out here, and well, against lords it has to be, not just any battles. Yeah, there was a whole bunch of Clan Pestilence ones. So Skaven are really good for this because they pump out loads of armies. And look, just huge armies, 18 size here, and it's completely free of upkeep. And the thing is, if this number here, so if they're stated thirst, if it goes down and start taking attrition, right? That doesn't matter anymore. So if these guys here don't fight any battles, it doesn't matter, because as they take attrition, it'll just be recovered whenever we fight any lord. So they're not actually... They're completely immune to their their bloodthirstness, kind of, because they just recover their attrition. It gets ridiculously ridiculous. Okay, and then the next one, this one over here, this one isn't quite as OP, and I haven't got it yet, but Skulltaker's army is fully replenished after defeating a lord. So that means that after any time that any one of your lords defeats any lord on the game, Skulltaker's army will be fully restored. And since he's constantly recovering his campaign movement range, and just constantly recovering his army. Like, obviously this one here has maintained a little bit of damage. I can't auto-resolve every single fight with him. It just brainlessly auto-resolving and creating new armies everywhere we go. So, you know, if I want to create a new one over here, no big deal. Just create a new blood host, right? I'm not even using the blood hosts. Just create them. Yeah, look at that. Another blood host right there. They won't create one if I do that there, unless I manually do it. That will probably have to be a manually resolve when there. No. So just do that. But you can see here my army is getting a bit worn out. But I'm a couple of turns until I get that upgrade. So yeah, just sack it. There we go. There's another one. just create blood hosts everywhere. So I imagine many of you guys have already seen this, but it gets pretty bloody ridiculous, I think. So that is just absolutely fucking insane that got in. I wonder if it's going to get patched. I don't care if it doesn't, because it's fun. But this is definitely not like a challenge campaign or anything, and that's fine. I'm okay with that. And then there's of course like the Skull Throne stuff, where you can, you know, you've got the summons in there that you can do. So I like this. This is better than the old Skull Throne. I think that it scales better throughout the campaign, whereas previously you just use it and then it give you a bunch of bonuses right off the bat. And now the bonuses aren't so good straight away, but become a lot better as you are able to activate more than one of them at a time and get the cooldown on them. So you can actually have this one here active 5 out of 6 turns at a time, eventually, as you get all the research done. And then there's one over here that allows you to summon a blood host, that faction leader. And I think there's a technology that turns the leader of that into an exalted bloodthirster instead of the Herald of Khorne. So yeah, a lot of that stuff really cool like that. I like the upgraded tech tree. The only thing that's kind of a bummer is that this one here, Blood Feaster's banner, is stuck later on in the tech tree, where previously I used to get it like one of the first things. Because these, I don't consider them priorities to begin with the research. I don't end up getting the Blood Feaster's banner early on, but in the grand scheme of things, it's just not a big deal. But anyway, that's what I wanted to talk about with Skulltaker's campaign. It is absolutely friggin' insane. But yeah, let me know in the comments below what you think of this campaign, and whether or not you found some cheese and exploits that I haven't yet found. If you want to use the farming the lords cheese by like being defeated by them constantly, and so that you can increase the champion's essence. You know, go for it, but don't go extreme with it. I went too far, I think, with Mazdamundi, because that did take a couple of hours to get it up to 300. But you know, I was just like watching videos while I was doing it on my second monitor, so it was brainless. It was easy to do. Anyway, that's the end of this one here, guys. Let me know in the comments below what you think of it. Appreciate you, and we'll see you next time. Later, guys.